This is the Lumix S9. A portable, not quite pocketable, full-frame powerhouse of a camera. I recently went traveling in Oahu in Hawaii, and this was one of the few cameras I took with me to document my trip. This is just about the perfect travel camera. But what makes this so compelling as a travel camera specifically? Well, there's actually quite a few, and I'm gonna try to save the biggest one for last. And it's something I was really skeptical about at first, but ended up really loving and understanding after using this camera. So let's start with the most obvious one first. So it's small, but like I said, not quite pocketable. It easily fits in most bags with smaller lenses, like the Asteroid 10mm fisheye or the 26mm kit lens, or even that 18-40 zoom you can buy optionally. My go-to bag for just walking around is this little crossbody sort of thing, and it even fits in there with the biggest of those lenses. The overall size and weight is really nice for hikes and going on trails and walking around, in my opinion. It also has really good battery life, in my opinion, and especially with the USB-C cable and a decent SD card, you shouldn't have to open the battery compartment for your entire trip. And I never really came that close to running out of battery. I definitely never completely ran out, even casual shooting for like an entire day. You might have thought this might be the #1 reason, but the video and image quality here are actually pretty stunning. Sure, 24 megapixels isn't setting any records for resolution, but I don't need higher than 24. In fact, that might be a little bit overkill for capturing memories on a vacation and little snapshots to post on social media, share with friends and family. But having the option to go up to 24 and also to shoot, a high resolution mode, 100 megapixels, or more impressively, 4K, 6K, or even like some lighter options like the MP4 Lite. I can record like 6K huge resolution for like stock video, or that MP4 Lite for quick turnaround stuff and just posting on social media or whatever I want to do with it. And we're getting up there, but for #4, the next one is a pretty unique feature in the entire camera world, but especially in small ones like this, and that's just the extra connectivity, seamless controls you get, app control, geotagging, auto or manually syncing and sending compressed or uncompressed pictures straight to your phone to share with family and friends and social media and send pictures quickly to people who want them. I have actually used very few cameras whose connectivity features and apps have been this easy to use and this fast, and in an everyday carry camera like the S9, I'm trying to think of any more convenient cameras than this. So kudos to Lumix for figuring that all out. And the final reason is, and I can't believe I'm saying this either, guys, is the real-time LUTs. I'm not gonna lie, I was not sold on this feature at all when I first saw it, didn't think I would use it. And I just love shooting log and figuring out my style over time. I love shooting RAW over JPEG and expanding the colors and the tones in Lightroom, trust me. But the thing with all of those approaches is that you actually have to do it. And when it comes to taking dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of photos on a vacation or street photography or just going out to dinner, with all the editing I do for work already and weddings and this channel, sometimes that just doesn't happen, and I never end up sharing these photos with anybody. So being easily able to quickly flip through the settings, dial in the look, adding or taking away a film grain, and getting sick looking shots with dozens of looks that you can install right through the app, it really just lets me show people right away and punch in a nice image, download them. And while I'm not a guy who needs to like make a big post about every single trip and thing I do, being able to essentially select and upload some of my favorite shots from this incredible trip before I even got on the plane to go back home and share those images with family and friends who were interested to see what we were up to, it was just nice. And so while 90% of the time I do want maximum control and power and flexibility over my edits, I do now really do see the power of being able to get a stylish look right out of camera, no editing, no extra steps, no delay in posting pictures from a trip you went on months ago. I don't know. I really challenged myself to shoot everything on this trip in JPEG, and I did that. And I was not disappointed with the results at all. So yeah, everything you've seen in this video, everything I've showed has been a JPEG I shot in camera. And of course, there's a lot more stuff we could talk about. The pretty decent battery life, really fast USB-C charging, so you don't even need to bring like an extra power charger or any extra batteries. And of course, all the same Lumix menus and great autofocus, great stabilization, things that just will be generally helpful for any kind of video or photo. Doesn't matter if you're on vacation or not. But, you know, since people won't just allow you to make a positive video these days, let's go over a few things to keep in mind when choosing this as your potential travel camera. I would say the first biggest thing that comes to mind is just the weather sealing. It's not weather sealed to the same standards that most other Lumix cameras are. It's more akin to something like a GX85 or G100, where it's compact, it's small, it's pretty nice, but it's not super premium and it's not weather sealed. I'm sure it would do fine, but if it's raining or sprinkling, or in my case, going to the beach, that's not going to be the best option. A thing that a lot of people point out, obviously, is the lack of EVF and the lack of shutter. It's got an electronic shutter. The electronic shutter never caused me any issues unless you're like shooting out of a car window or like super fast shutter speeds. The EVF occasionally, when it's really bright, would have been nice, but I'm not a big EVF person, but if you are, something to keep in mind. I would say also that certain times of vacation, you want to zoom into wildlife, things like that. There's the 28 to 200, which is pretty nice, but outside of that, not super great telephoto options, although there is the hybrid zoom, which does make up for that, or can enhance the zoom ranges of something like the 28 to 100, 28 to 200. And I guess just the lack of super tiny lenses in general. Of course, there's a lot of manual lenses, some I mentioned in this video. The best zoom for this system is probably going to be the 28 to 40, although Sigma makes some pretty great full frame zooms as well, and some pretty great full frame compact primes. They're not quite pancakes, but they're pretty small, but they still weigh a decent amount. So they're better than the 1.8s in terms of size, but they're actually a little heavier. So I don't know. It's not the perfect travel companion for some things, more adventurous stuff, where size is the absolute priority, where telephoto zoom is the absolute priority, where being weather sealed in really spicy environments is a big deal. But as a general rule, I had a pretty great time with this camera. And so that's my list, y'all. I think the S9 has made for a great travel companion in my recent vacation over the holidays. I hope you enjoyed the videos, some of the shots, and if you liked the video or any of the samples, or if you just want to do me a favor, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. And if you do subscribe or have been for a while, I'll see you when I see you.